Blue skies smiling at me. Nothing but blue skies do I see. Hey, welcome back. This is going to be our test review for Psych290 research methods. I know a lot of you have looked over the test already, so I'm just going to step through these questions really pretty briefly. So, again, hopefully to, troubleshoot any sort of questions you might have. Again, even after this, if you still have questions, again, feel free to let me know, whatever questions you have. Right. So the first couple of questions really come straight from the book, things that we talked about already. The first one was the ethics studies from historical context. So again, nothing really new there, and nothing I don't think that needs any sort of explanation. Just say what the problems were with each of these studies and why they were so influential in terms of how we view ethics today. Okay. Second one, the operational definitions question. We talked about that numerous times, so I don't think you'll have any trouble with that as well. Just make sure that you come up with operational definitions for all three items that I put on test item 2. Okay. Question number 3 deals with validity, essentially construct validity. This we also talked about in class before we left. The idea of the connectiveness to nature scale, and how that was the validity of that was tested. That again, pretty straightforward, straight from the book. All right, so that's number 3. Number 4, your scales and measurement question, something that you really need to know going forward. I know a lot of you had a good handle on this coming into this class from your statistics class, so again, nothing really new here. Okay, just make sure that you identify again each of the 4 different scales of measurement, an example of each, define each one of them, and also say why it's so important, why you learned about it in statistics, but explain why we have to know that when we're doing research. Okay, so that's really at the crux of question number 4. Number 5, sampling techniques, probability versus non-probability sampling. That's actually in chapter 4, but the other reason for mentioning this is that it's very important in terms of survey research, which I didn't really get a chance to talk about. Hopefully you read about, but sampling is very, very important, certainly for experimental studies, but also very important when you're doing surveys, as you can see from some of the historic events, such as the 1936 Literary Digest poll, where sampling was just not done right. Okay, so that's why I included that question. Again, give me each of the 3 different forms of probability sampling and non-probability sampling. Okay, all right. Number 6. Again, something we didn't actually get to talk about yet. So the idea of survey items. Survey items are typically, not done well, actually, in terms of politics. So I gave you that example from a survey that I got in the mail. Again, I live in this person's district. This is not a Republican, a Democratic thing. It just happens to be a Republican congressman that, I live in his district. So I use that survey. Democrats do this all the time too. Okay, politicians always do surveys that have these particular problems with them. We, being psychologists, we want to eliminate those types of problems. We want to eliminate the problems associated with double-barreled questions. Okay, so and leading questions, or loaded questions, as your book calls them. Okay, double negatives. Okay, think of all those types of things that would not make it easy to answer that question on the survey. If you've got 2 items within one, how do you know which one you're answering? Okay, so that's the double barrel question. Loaded questions, if they're leading questions, like, don't you think we should do this? Okay, well, if you've ever been in a relationship and somebody said that to you, don't you think we should go out tonight? What are you going to say? All right, that's a leading question, and to give you an example of what that would be like in a personal relationship. Same thing with a survey. If you're saying, don't you think we should do this, or don't you think that's bad? All right, that's a leading question. You want to eliminate that. And the book does supply different ways that you can change that and make the item better. Okay, so again, I gave you the survey. Look through it. Don't just pick the first two items you see. There's some items in there that actually are pretty good, but there's a couple that are definitely in need of improvement. Okay, all right. And the last two questions, basically, I want you to show me that you've learned about factorial design in this class and learned about correlational research. So what I want you to do is create a two-factor experiment based on the perceived IQ article and eyeglasses wearing. But again, I don't want this to be correlational. I want you to show me that you do understand how you create and design a two-factor experiment. All right, so tell me what the levels are going to be, what the two independent variables are going to be, what your dependent variable is going to be, and show me that you understand how this should work and what the actual hypothesis would be given this situation. Right. Second item, and the last one on the test, is the correlational study. Create a correlational, don't create a correlational study, but I gave you the links, both the popular press version of the honesty and profanity study, and then the link to the actual article. One reason for doing that is because you're going to see these links to the popular media article, and that doesn't tell the whole story. Okay, so if you're really interested in the article, go to the source article, read through it, and get a sense of exactly how they did the study themselves. Okay, so again, you can't just rely on media depictions of these particular studies. All right, again, in this particular case, this synopsis from the popular press was actually pretty good, but that's not always the case. All right, so what I'm driving at here in terms of this question is that why correlation does not give you causation. Okay, you can't infer causation from correlation, and basically the key idea here is what is the third variable problem, what is directionality, and apply. There's a number of examples in the book about this, but apply that information to this particular study. Why would directionality be an issue? What could be the third variable that could make somebody or be related to somebody swearing more and also having a higher score on the honesty scale? Okay, so again, don't just say, oh, there's a third variable that could occur. Tell me what you think that third variable could be. Okay, all right, so I think that highlights all the different questions on the test. If you have any other questions about it, just let me know. Okay, and again, you have until Friday to actually complete that. Just email it to me when you get a chance. Okay, so I'll be emailing everybody about the rest of the end of the semester stuff in just a little while. So again, take care, everybody. Stay safe. Thank you for bearing with us in terms of this whole semester. And again, we'll make sure that this experience was a good one for you. Okay, so take care, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy. All right, bye-bye, guys.